No, you won't be trusted. No, anymore. No. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation, it's the 6th of November. Yeah, the day after, 2025. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist. These are the WTF reports, and every single day we have good reason to say, what the heck is going on in this country? Well, let's see. Of course, Election Day has now come and gone. The results are in, and the people in New York City are going to find out what it means when they say F-A-F-O, fiddle around and find out. Yep, you got Mandami in there now as the mayor-elect for New York City, and I guess your folks are going to find out the hard way. And you know, maybe the votes weren't as accurate as you'd like to think. And I'm curious, you know, why is it ever since 2020, I mean, the whole country was in an uproar about election interference. Yeah, about corrupted voting machines and mail-in ballots. And, you know, I mean, this is what the whole January 6th, quote-unquote, insurrection was all about. But then, you know, it sort of falls by the wayside and people don't talk about it until the election comes, the election comes around again. And then the results come in and people start screaming about election fraud again. And then it dies down. And then another election cycle comes around. And another reason people say, okay, there's something wrong with the election booths. But still nothing changes. Nothing changes. You know, I remember 20 years ago, actually it's 21 years ago, Beverly Harris did a documentary on HBO, and it was called Hacking Democracy. And she showed, and the experts showed, how easy it was to be able to hack those machines. Diebold and Sequoia. Of course, they're all different names now. Different companies have bought out those election machine manufacturing facilities, but it's all the same thing. So here we are in 2025, and now everybody's saying, what happened? How is it that the Democrats had so many wins? And as a matter of fact, I saw some woman who posted on social media. She's in California, and there's this Proposition 50 that was people were going to vote on. And when she went in to vote, the only option that she had was yes. Say, wait a second, I don't want Prop 50. I want to vote no. Well, it's just the way the machines are, you know, go ahead and just vote, you know. No, I want to vote no. And she went back and forth with the person who was, standing there trying to help people figure out these stupid machines. And they ended up getting a supervisor over there. And so she came over and they had a little discussion and this and that and blah, 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 back and forth. And then the woman did something to the machine so she could finally, you know, the screen had to come up again. And so she could vote no on it. Now, wait a second. How many people went through those voting booths and just pushed the button? You know, I mean, the corruption is so rampant. It's everywhere. And as a matter of fact, when I first started my talk radio career back in 95, I'm trying to remember what the guy's name was. He wrote a book called Vote Scam. And, James Collier. Yeah, James Collier wrote a book called Vote Scam. And that's, you know, like I said, that was 30 years ago. So this issue about the corrupted voting systems has been around for a long time, and it still hasn't been fixed. I just don't get it. Why is it that people don't get up and do something about it? I don't know. Maybe it's just, you know, got to just go along to get along, you know. It's up to somebody else to fix it. You know, you can't fight City Hall. I'm only one person. What am I going to do? My vote doesn't count. I don't know, folks. But that sort of inspired me to write a song. And it's the title cut of my first album, almost 30 years ago. Yeah, 1996 is when I released it. I wrote some of the songs in 95, and I can't remember which ones came first. But this song is more applicable today than it was 30 years ago. Here it is. And I just want to remind you, it's not about the music. It's about the lyrics. The lyrics.
It's been going on for year after year, and so many have shed many a tear. And when they sit down to cry, they never question or try to find an answer. That's the way it's been for oh so long, and you're so used to it you don't see what's wrong. It's in your history, and if you just look and see that it's repeating. When lawyers' litigation goes without examination, you can bet that it won't take very long. With rules and regulations and without representation, pretty soon you'll sing a slavery song. No, go ahead and go your own merry way, but I can tell you that you'll soon curse the day you were asleep at the wheel. You didn't know what was real. You'll learn the hard way.
Yeah, you'll learn the hard way, folks. FAFO.
So how can you get someone to hear when their ears are filled with self-imposed fear? If there's a voice in the crowd that shouts a message out loud, will someone listen? How can you get someone to see when they can't bring themselves to turn off TV? If someone turns on a light, will others join in the fight or turn a blind eye? When your country's education doesn't teach about your nation, how your family fought so hard to be free, it creates a situation and promotes perpetuation of a people who will live on their knees. No, go ahead and go your own merry way, but I can tell you that you'll soon curse the day you were asleep at the wheel. You didn't care what was real. You'll learn the hard way. When your country's education doesn't teach about your nation, how your family fought so hard to be free, it creates a situation and promotes perpetuation of a people who will live on their knees. No, go ahead and go your own merry way, but I can tell you that you'll soon curse the day you've been asleep at the wheel. You didn't care what was real. You'll learn the hard way. Will someone listen or turn a blind eye?
So the question is, how many people out there that are really listening? How many people are turning their face away because they don't want to see? And that's exactly what's happening. It's been going on, as the song says, for year after year. And now we're going to reap what we sow. And I have to tell you, folks, I'm not happy about it. I'm sure you're not happy about it either. But unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And the folks in New York City now are going to they're going to find out. I was listening to Justice Knight on what's it called? Restricted Republic. Now there are a bunch of social media influencers that are out there, and that this has become the new source for information. Because the legacy media, the mainstream press, they've lost all credibility, as have, most of the three-letter agencies in this country. But the bottom line here is that Justice Knight, was almost gleeful. It was sort of in a tongue-in-cheek way. But, he was talking about the folks in New York City. You're going to find out. I mean, I saw a video yesterday of Times Square, and how it's shut down by Muslims who gather in the middle, right down 7th Avenue. And that's where it is. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Muslims, they all of a sudden blast out their prayers through loudspeakers, and they all have their prayer mats, and they just basically shut down Times Square. But that's okay. That's okay, right? Because, in England, that's what's going on in London all the time, in all the major cities, all over England. And God forbid you should pray. No, if you're a Muslim, you can pray. Yeah, it's okay. Put your prayer mat down, shut down all the traffic, shut down the whole city, and blast your prayers out through speakers, and that's cool. Yeah, that's good. However, if you're a Christian or a Catholic or, whatever, if you stand outside and you are by yourself and you are praying silently, you get arrested. Okie dokie. Is that what's coming here? I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. I just can't help but shake my head and say, what the heck is going on? Now, of course, the social media influencers are all being attacked. As a matter of fact, I've been reposting stuff that like Candace Owens or Ian Carroll or Ryan Mata, Eric Warsaw, and people are coming back at me and saying, "Oh, you're a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist." I say, wait a second, I didn't have any theories, and I can't help but think of the documentary that I made 20 years ago. That was 9/11 in plain sight, and I gave a little bit of an explanation as to what a conspiracy theory is, and I'll share it with you. Those two words, okay, conspiracy defined, that means two or more people plan something in secret. That's what a conspiracy is. That's the definition. I'm not making this up. The other word, the active word, is theory. Okay, a theory is a concept. It's a supposition. Okay, in theory, if you purchase a raffle ticket, you can win a prize. Now, as long as you don't buy a raffle ticket, that means your win is theoretical. Once you buy one raffle ticket, it becomes a possibility. And the more raffle tickets you purchase, the more possible and eventually probable that win becomes. Such is the case with a conspiracy theory. If you have no evidence to support your idea of a conspiracy, then it is a conspiracy theory. However, once you have a piece of evidence, it becomes a possibility. And the more evidence that you gather, the more possible and eventually probable that conspiracy is. Just like that raffle ticket. You buy one raffle ticket, it's a possibility. If you buy, 499 raffle tickets out of 500, then your win is pretty probable. Well, that's the way it is with conspiracy theories. But you see, there are folks out there that don't want you thinking. No, they don't want you thinking. They don't want you to try to, take up, look at some evidence and start thinking about it. Now, I don't understand that because, so many people, you can ask them, do you trust the FBI? And they'll go, no. Do you trust the CIA? No. Do you trust your government in general, to tell you the truth? No. Oh, but as far as Charlie Kirk is concerned, we all know the FBI has come up and they say Tyler Robinson did it. Yep. And how dare you go against that? No. Don't you dare think about anything other than the official narrative. And if you go outside of the confines, if you think outside of that particular intellectual cage, you're going to face the wrath. Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, folks out there, they took out Charlie Kirk because he was turning against Israel. And now we have to start looking at all the other social influencers out there. Did they get the memo? Did you see what happened to Charlie Kirk? You want that to happen to you? Clayton Morris, Tucker Carlson, TPV Sean, Justice Knight, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, Ryan Mata, Eric Warsaw, Beverly Harris, all of these people. You better watch out if you think outside of the cage. You better go along with the official FBI narrative or you're going to face the wrath of all of these other people that are somehow on board with going along with that official narrative. You can't say that this was a state-sponsored assassination. No. It was a crazed leftist. Yeah, that's what it is. We have to gin up the hostilities between the left and the right. Yeah, we want the conservatives and liberals to fight against each other. Have that horizontal conflict. Right versus left. Horizontal. Well, I'm here to tell you, folks, that is exactly the plan of the globalist agenda and those who are pulling the strings. We need a bottom-to-top conflict. We have to go after the people who are pulling the strings, but a lot of people, they don't even see it that way. They're so locked into the red versus blue, Republican versus Democrat, conservative versus liberal. We have to stay within those confines. But I'll tell you, there's a lot of people that are saying, no, I'm not going to stay within that. Now, I don't mean to be a one-trick pony here, but this whole thing with Charlie Kirk's assassination, I mean, I have to tell you, somebody posted it's about a 12-minute video of the events that led up to and including Charlie being assassinated. And, there's a lot of talk right now. People are saying, well, what was this deal with Mikey McCoy? Okay, people are questioning what the heck happened. Why did Mikey McCoy turn and just walk away? Charlie hadn't even hit the ground yet. Mikey McCoy turned around and casually walked away, and he kept on walking while he was on the phone. What's that all about? And then there's Tyrell Farnsworth. He was the guy. He was also standing next to Mikey, and as soon as Charlie was hit, he turned and ran around behind the tent, through the tunnel, and climbed up on the wall and started taking a selfie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They just shot Charlie. They, not someone, not he, but he said they just shot Charlie. Charlie's dead. How do you know that he's dead? And the thing was, okay, those are the two people who are being scrutinized right now. It's all over social media. However, I took this video that I was watching, and I decided one by one, I'm going to watch different people and see what happened. Now, there was one guy, he was standing in front of Charlie looking out at the audience. He had his back to Charlie. So, anyway, as soon as Charlie got hit, he turned, and if you can watch this video, he's the guy that came from the front. He jumped over the table, almost knocking the table down. And then he had his hand in his back pocket. He pulled his hand out, and it looked like he handed something off to one of the other guys there. And at the same time, it looks like there was an exchange. And then he turned and he ran away. What was that about? And then there's the guy that people are saying, oh, he touched his sleeve and he had a palm gun or something like that, which I don't believe any of that stuff. He was in a tan shirt and he had sunglasses on. Then he also ran around and got behind the table where Charlie was. And he was involved in some of these handoffs. I don't know what was going on, what they were passing, but obviously there's, here, you take this and you go. Okay? Or here, you take this and I'll take that and I'll go. And there was something going on. Now, God forbid I should think outside of the cage. God forbid I should start saying, hey, wait a second, what was going on? You can't do that. You have to stay in line. You have to say, oh, yes, it was Tyler Robinson. No, I have the right to ask questions. I don't know what's going on. I don't have any theories. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I wasn't a conspiracy theorist when I made the 9/11 videos. I didn't have any theories. I had questions based upon evidence, based upon video and photographic evidence. And God forbid all these other researchers out there do their own research and start asking their own questions about what happened that day. So I don't know. I mean, I'm going to put it out there to you folks. Okay, I'm going to open the phone lines. The phone lines are now open, 215-867-8255. The question to you, dear listener, is do you believe the official story that they're pushing out there about Tyler Robinson? Do you believe Tyler Robinson was the lone shooter? Or do you believe this was a state-sponsored assassination? Now, if you think it was a state-sponsored assassination, and we are allowed to entertain that idea, we have to ask the question, which state? Who would benefit by taking Charlie out, by silencing his voice? Well, I don't think it's too hard to think about that. I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu was saying, that's insane. People are saying that Israel had something to do with it. That's crazy talk. That's that. And boy, I tell you, the lady doth protest too much. And there are a lot of other social influencers out there, members of TPUSA, that are going after anybody who thinks outside of the confines of the official narrative. So, hey, Officer Tatum, I had some respect for you, but I'll tell you, the way you're going after anybody who's asking questions raises suspicion upon you. And the same thing with Benny Johnson. I'll tell you, there are a lot of these people out there that I was following along, you know. We've all been snookered. We've all been scammed, flim-flammed. psyoped. I don't believe any of these people anymore. I do believe that some of these other social media influencers, like Candace Owens, I'm behind Candace. I don't think she's 100%, but I have a whole lot more respect for her than I do with some of these members of TPUSA. Clayton Morris, he's jumping on board. And Clayton Morris, he was former Fox News. He was working at Fox the same time Tucker Carlson was. I mean, we're talking, mainstream media veterans now that have basically, created their own social media platform and their own podcasts. And this is why social media is getting a whole lot more viewership than the legacy media. Is because they're more apt to tell you the truth. Now, I've got a couple of audio clips here. Some of these, I just was going back this past month and looking at some of the clips that I played, and I got to tell you, some of them are choice. This is a keeper here. It's somewhat unrelated, but it's not unrelated completely. Ted Cruz, what do you think?
How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape?
What about?
How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
Wow. Why would we want to stop attacking pedophiles? Well, you know what? Pedophiles, they have a safe haven if they go to Israel. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, gosh, I must be an anti-Semite. Oh, I must hate Jews. Oh, boy. I tell you, the people protest way too much. Anyway, there was an IDF soldier that, as far as the October 7th attack was concerned, we all remember that. But here's what he had to say.
Israel is probably the most advanced surveillance state in the world, and the Gaza border is probably the most heavily surveilled. I know all these things firsthand because I served on the Gaza border. Do you know how long it takes an attack helicopter to get activated and blow up any one of those tractors or pickup trucks? Less than 5 minutes. It could have been a matter of 5 minutes before the whole thing was upended. I'm sorry, that's an inside job.
I am an Israeli. I live in Jerusalem. I was serving in the army. I was in intelligence unit. The fence is guarded 24/7, not only by patrolling cars, not only by cameras, not only by a fence that is an electric fence, also by laser that is activating an alarms. Nobody can cross that fence. You cannot enter unless you have help from inside. There was help from inside. This operation was not made by Hamas. The plan is to flatten Gaza. Let's talk the truth. There was help from inside. This operation was not made by Hamas. This operation was an operation that was an excuse for a bigger cause.
That's right. It's called the Hannibal Directive. And she's not the only one. Again, you just heard from IDF members. Inside job. As a matter of fact, Clayton Morris had this to say.
Well, if you wanted to know why Israel stood down for 7 hours and allowed Hamas to carry out an attack, well, on October 7th, well, we all now know exactly why. It was all part of a plan to use it as a catalyst to permanently take over Gaza, of course, and the West Bank. Yes, according to Israeli leaked documents, the plan is to ethnically cleanse Gaza of all Palestinians, steal all of the land, of course, steal the minerals, steal the trillions of dollars of natural gas and other minerals off the coast, build new hotels and resorts in Gaza. After all, if you're well studied and educated, of course, you know that Israel and the United States created and funded Hamas, well documented. Netanyahu bragged about it, of course. It was a brilliant plan, actually, if you think about it, right? Create an enemy, create a bad guy to rally around and fight. It's like what the Wizard of Oz says, right? You need a good enemy. Everyone needs a good enemy to rally around. And if you fund them and you create them, it's the perfect catalyst. And it's just like what we did with Al-Qaeda. So here's Ron Paul to explain just a little bit of the history of how we created and funded Hamas.
But there's a political liability, which I think is something that we fail to look at because too often there's so much blowback from our intervention in areas that we shouldn't be involved in. You know, Hamas, if you look at the history, you'll find out that Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yasser Arafat. And you say, well, yeah, that was better then and served its purpose, but we didn't want Hamas to do this. So then we as Americans say, well, we have such a good system, we're going to impose this on the world. We're going to invade Iraq and teach people how to be Democrats. We want free elections. So we encourage the Palestinians to have a free election. They do, and they elect Hamas. So we first, indirectly and directly through Israel, help establish Hamas. Then we have election. Then Hamas becomes dominant, so we have to kill them.
So we have to kill them, right? So that's exactly how it works. So the plan all along was to take over this land, push out all Palestinians so Israel would lay claim to this land. This isn't a conspiracy theory at all. It's in their own leaked documents.
Well, that's Clayton Morris. Okay, these are all people obviously thinking outside of the cage, thinking outside of the confines of the official narrative. Now, of course, we have official narratives in regard to Charlie's assassination. We have official narratives as to what happened on October 7th. We always have an official narrative. And one by one, these narratives get torn to pieces. And so for all those social media posters out there that are attacking those who are doing the yeoman's work of real investigation, I say that you're exposing yourself. You really are. And before I take the break, again, the phone number here is 215-867-8255. And I would love to hear from somebody out there that, how you feel about the official narrative. Was Tyler Robinson the lone shooter, or was this something else altogether? Well, I'm here to tell you that I personally believe that, yes, it was a state-sponsored assassination.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And as always, you can get more Tank by visiting our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page, and that'll take you to a window where you can get more Tank. All the specifications and details are there, how and why this stuff works, and why you should be using it in your vehicle. Doesn't make any difference what year, make, or model that you drive. Get More Tank will improve the performance of your engine. And not only that, but after a tank or two, you'll start to see the mileage improve. And like I've said so many times before, anywhere between 15 and 20% more mileage out of your vehicle. That's cash in your pocket. This is a no-brainer, folks. You need to go and get more Tank. Visit our website, TheWTFReports.com, and that's how we keep the lights on here. So, anyway, I'm going to keep on standing in the light. I'm not going to hide. All I want is the truth.
All I want is the truth. Just give me some truth.
And the truth is never easy to find. So if it's so easy to watch the networks and sit on your couch and do your channel surfing with the different news sources out there, if the truth is never easy to find, how easy is that to absorb that intellectual fecal matter? That's why you have to think outside of the confines of the mainstream legacy media, because they are there to blow smoke up your butt, and that's what they do. They're very good at it. They're very convincing. So anyway, moving on. Let me see. There was Clayton Morrison had this to say. No, that's not what I was going to do. Where was it? I just had it here. Ian Carroll. He's another one who's going to get in trouble. Here he is.
Right now, Larry Ellison is on a media rampage.
Okay, wait, that's not the clip I was going to play. I got to go back to Clayton. No, I did that one. So sorry, I'm a little confused. I got a whole bunch of clips on here on the board here, and I got to figure out which one is which. Let me see. Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson discussing Israel. Let me see which one this was.
No, because Israel's controlling our government. So no, the answer is no. Trump is powerless against him. I don't think we've been a sovereign nation since they shot JFK. And when I say they, it's like people online say, what do you mean by they? I'm talking about Israel. I don't want you guys to read in between. I'm talking about Israel. So let's stop making that a taboo subject because they've gone mask down. Everything they're doing is demonic. I want nothing to do with it. I will never support Israel into the future after what they've done to these children. The starvation campaign. I don't care. Please write your article. You've already written them all. I don't know what you could add about me. But I do not support Israel. And I don't think that Jewish Americans should support Israel. And I hope that they're now having those conversations. I see many of them recognizing that they have been propagandized into believing they have to support this demonic state. And that's in large part thanks to their birthright trip. Yeah, that mask down moment for Jonathan Greenblatt of the ADL when he got caught on the hot mic, it was released. He didn't know that he was being recorded. And he's like saying that they've got to get TikTok under control. He's like, we have a generational issue with TikTok. We need to do something about this like what we did with birthright. What does that tell you? That the entire purpose of that birthright trip, telling every Jewish American, you forget a free trip to Israel, was to propagandize you into believing that you have some affinity with this made up country in the Middle East, in 1948, that you have to, react when something's happening to them, or you have to look away when they're doing things that are so obviously wrong and demonic. And so I'm hoping now that we're getting to that point where people can recognize that whether you're black, you don't have to agree with BLM. Whether you're allowing your identity to shape your morality is problematic.
I agree, Candace. And, as far as, these God's chosen people, I want to share with you a few quotes, okay? And you tell me if these are God's chosen people. Here's a quote from Itamar Ben-Gvir. He's Israeli Minister of National Security. He said this on July 8th of this year. He said, and I quote, in regard to the Palestinians, they should be crushed to pieces, starved to death, and not resuscitated with humanitarian aid that gives them oxygen. God's chosen people, right? And here's another quote. This is one from Amichai Ben Eliyahu. He's the Israeli Heritage Minister. He said, and I quote, the army must find ways more painful than death for the civilians in Gaza. Killing them is not enough. God's chosen people. Here's another quote from Bezalel Smotrich. He's the Israeli finance minister. He said, and I quote, we will never allow a single grain of wheat to enter the Gaza Strip. And another quote from Mr. Smotrich. He said, and I quote, it might be justified to let millions of Palestinians die of hunger. Yes, God's chosen people. Well, I want to remind you, Jews and Christians. Now, I'm talking about the real Jews. I'm talking about the real Jews who follow the Ten Commandments. And that's something that Jews and Christians have in common. We have the same Ten Commandments. We have the same prophets. We have the same God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We have, Jeremiah. We have, we have so much in common from the Old Testament. And the big thing is the Ten Commandments. Now, one of them is, thou shalt not bear false witness. That means you shall not lie. Let that sink in. That's not a suggestion. It's not a rule. It's not a law. It's not a mandate. It's a commandment. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not lie. But do you know what the motto is for the Israeli IDF and the Israeli Mossad? Do you know what the motto is? By deception, thou shalt make war. Now that sounds like a commandment. They use the same type of thou. They don't say you, they say thou. So it sounds like a commandment. By deception, thou shalt make war. By deception, by lying, thou shalt make what? War. You shall go out and kill people. Oh, that reminds me of another commandment. Thou shalt not murder. Okay, so how, dear listener, are these God's chosen people? Well, the answer is they're not, because they're not the real Jews. There are Old Testament Jews, and then there are the Talmudic Jews. The Talmud is completely different. Oh, it's a whole different ball of wax. And if you haven't done any research, shame on you. It's amazing how many people who do little or no research whatsoever, and they are so quick to attack people who do the research. Go figure. But anyway, getting back to the matters at hand, Matt Gaetz, former member of Congress, and now he's a commentator and editorialist on the One America News Network. He's coming around. Listen to what he had to say. What he put this out. Oh, I guess this was not quite a week ago. But this is Matt Gaetz. Listen up.
Charlie Kirk openly questioned the story Israel was trying to tell the world about October 7th.
I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand-down order? Was there a stand-down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that is an IDF soldier. Right? The whole country is surveilled.
There's also another country that asked Qatar to support Hamas. It was Israel. In 2018, Netanyahu himself sent a secret letter to the Qatari leadership. In that letter, he urged Qatar to deliver $30 million a month to Gaza. He said this funding would help reduce the motivation of terror groups to carry out attacks, prevent a humanitarian crisis, and preserve regional stability. So in May of 2025, Netanyahu publicly admitted that since 2018, his government had allowed Qatar to transfer money to Hamas in Gaza, and that was according to his own request. That policy was approved by the full Israeli security cabinet. So if you believe Netanyahu himself, he went from asking Qatar to send money to Hamas to bombing Qatar for not extraditing Hamas.
He doesn't think this serves Israel's interests or the United States' interests.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Qatar just gifted the United States a $400 million jet. Israel sending bombs in return is one heck of a thank you note. On Capitol Hill, Florida Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz is deeply concerned about foreign governments running influence campaigns online in the United States.
It is totally rampant, allowing foreign governments to just perpetrate these platforms, all of these bots, all of the time to weaponize Americans. You see what's going on here? This is a byproduct of all of that. What's going on in the streets is a byproduct of all of that.
Well, that just sounds awful. We wanted to learn more about these foreign governments that Representative Moskowitz was talking about and their paid influence operations. And lo and behold, a foreign country has just signed a $45 million deal with Google to spread propaganda. It's Israel. If you don't care at all about Israel or Qatar, you should at least care about U.S. military equipment being used in the most stupid of ways. Israel has the F-35. Qatar has U.S. Patriot missile batteries. Is American hegemony in 2025 really watching our own air defenses shooting down U.S.-funded bombs launched from U.S.-made planes? This reminds me of Syria, when forces funded by the Pentagon were fighting forces funded by the CIA. This week, U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson held a meeting with AIPAC and Jewish leaders on Capitol Hill. Several reports out of that meeting suggest Speaker Johnson committed to screen potential congressional candidates to ensure they are aligned with the current policies of the Israeli government. I asked Speaker Johnson about this, and he offered this response on record exclusively to our program. When asked if he was going to screen candidates in this way, he wrote back, "No. Shocking that I would be misquoted. The discussion was about general support for Israel, which has obviously been declining. Christians are called to support the people and nation of Israel, but not necessarily its politics." Speaker Johnson didn't fall into this trap.
Those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed.
Those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of, it says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my... You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. Is the nation
the
God's referring to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is.
I guess wrong. We can say this about Mike Johnson. He's probably got a higher IQ than Ted Cruz. Qatar is an ally. I know that because we have a U.S. military base there. Since Vietnam, no country that has willingly invited U.S. military bases has been bombed by U.S.-funded weapons. We see increasing evidence that Netanyahu wants forever wars in the Middle East. That's not good for Israel. That's not good for the United States. It's just good for Netanyahu. And his goals sound really awful.
But the fact is now Bibi and the Israeli hard-right government has a mandate. I got to be careful the way I say this. They're going to try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Yep. I mean, I don't use that term lightly, okay?
That's right. And I'm sorry, Ted Cruz, you got it wrong. It doesn't say those who bless Israel, or those who curse Israel will be cursed, those who bless Israel. It says God was talking to Abraham. And he said, those who curse you, will be cursed. Those who bless you will be blessed. Didn't say anything about Israel. But then again, Ted Cruz, I didn't expect you to be able to tell the truth, especially when you don't want people attacking pedophiles. I'm sorry, there are many, many wolves in sheep's clothing. And, this has been going on for a long, long time. Let's take the clock back about 45 years. Remember President Jimmy Carter? This is what he had to say about Israel. It's been going on for a long time.
AIPAC is not dedicated to peace. They're dedicated to inducing the maximum support in America, in the White House, in the Congress, and in the public media.
Yeah, he was talking about AIPAC. In other words, Israel. This has been going on for decades and decades and decades, folks. And unfortunately, most of the American people have been so brainwashed. America's our favorite ally, our biggest ally. Over and over and over again. As a matter of fact, I have, let me see, where is it here? Okay, I'm just scrolling through my, no, here it is. No, that's not it. Okay, let's see. It's about Charlie. Charlie knew, excuse me, Charlie knew all about some of this stuff. Charlie knew about the Bible. He knew about John 8:44. He knew about Revelations 2:9 and 3:9. He knew about the star of Remphan, which is Moloch. He knew about the Talmud. He knew about the Khazars and the Ashkenazi. He knew about the October 6th stand-down orders. He knew about the Hannibal Directive. He had come to realize the reality of the imposters. Well, I got to tell you, millions of us have come to realize that too. This is important stuff, folks, because people have got to figure this out. People have got to wake up and think outside the cage. It's not going to get fixed unless we fix it. Very, very simple. But unfortunately, most Americans have been psyoped. They have, and a lot of the conservatives say, oh boy, those liberals, boy, they have been really psyoped. They've been brainwashed. Well, guess what, conservatives? So have you. Anyway, I'm going to play this little clip here. A woman posted this, and I agree with 90% of what she said. Here it is.
I voted for Trump 3 times, okay? And since it's gotten to this pinnacle here in American culture, there is no more denying it, okay? We have been psyoped as American patriots, okay? They psyoped constitutionalists and people who value freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, the right to bear arms, all of it. Do you see how he just fed us bullshit this last time around? No more wars. We're going to release the Epstein files. We're going to drain the swamp. All of them fired. Like we were just watching another episode of The Apprentice. Yeah, that is 101 a psyop, guys. He has done he's done a 180. He's added on wars and continued current ones. He has not released the Epstein files. He nominated a DOJ to release it, and then they're fumbling. He knew they would. He knew who they are, okay? He installed them. But he wants to go and blame them. FBI, why are we even trusting the FBI? Why? Because his name is Kash Patel and he's a conservative, allegedly? Come on, guys. They're literally all, like, the most recent situation with Charlie Kirk being assassinated didn't tell you enough. They are lying to us. And all Trump wants to talk, Israel, Ukraine. Are you kidding me? I'm a 32-year-old mother. I just want to buy a fucking house. I want to have a good job where I don't have to turn around every fucking second and make sure that I'm not being recorded because I'm a Trump supporter. By the way, I got fired from my job for being a supporter of you, Trump. And you turn your fucking back on us. Psyop.
Yep, we've all been psyoped. Every doggone one of us. Kash Patel, oh yeah, day one, release the Epstein files. Pam Bondi, same deal. But we're still waiting. We're still waiting for justice as far as the 2020 election is concerned. Yeah, we're waiting for that too. We're all sitting on our hands just waiting for somebody to fix it. Hey, where are the white hats? I'm still wondering what the heck happened to them. I know they exist. I was in a meeting back in 1996, and I was really shocked, when the guy that was in a military uniform, he got up there and explained how the United States had been taken over. And he said that we're going to get our country back because we're the good guys. We are the white hats. Now, that was in 96. That totally was in the back of my memory banks for years and years and years, and I'd totally forgotten about it until after President Trump was elected back in 2016, and then came the Q posts. Yeah, and that's interesting stuff to look at. Yeah, and then they started talking about the white hats. The white hats. Yeah. The what? The white hats? I remember. Almost 30 years ago. So I know that there are good guys in the military, but I know that there are bad guys in the military as well. So there's sort of like a green on green conflict going on in the Pentagon. Now, how this is going to sort out, I don't know. But I cannot allow myself to believe that everybody in government is evil. I can't allow myself to believe that. I have to hold on to some glimmer of hope that there are good guys out there that are going to fight against this globalist agenda and against the forces of evil that are basically manifested in this country, this state of Israel. And I'm sorry, folks, I am not an anti-Semite. As a matter of fact, if you do your research, you'll find out it's the Palestinians who are the Semites. And it's the Israelis who are the anti-Semites. Said it numerous times on this show, and I'll keep on saying it until people finally get it. So this state of Israel was created by evil people. I mean, the whole thing was thunk up by the Rothschilds. Remember the Balfour Declaration in 1917? The Rothschilds, what kind of people are the Rothschilds? They are openly Satanists. As a matter of fact, there's that portrait of Jacob Rothschild standing next to Marina Abramovic, who is a world-recognized satanic priestess, and she does the spirit cooking and the sacrifices and all that. That's all common knowledge now. So if the state of Israel, the Zionist state of Israel, was thunk up by the Rothschilds, is this a good thing or is it a bad thing? This is really easy stuff to figure out. But you see, you can't get the big picture unless you've got the courage to look at the puzzle pieces. And many people don't want to look at the puzzle pieces because, they're too scary. I don't want to think about that. Besides, the game is on tonight. Oh, did you see that movie? All of a sudden, redirect, grab the steering wheel, take the conversation in a different direction. Don't want to talk about anything that's going to be heavy. No. Don't want to talk about anything like that might make you feel scary. No. Well, I'm telling you, the more we ignore it, the more it proliferates. It's sort of like this whole thing with the satanic cults that started popping up all over the country years and years and years ago. I spent hours talking to Ted Gunderson about that way back when. And it was shocking to me. I mean, I'm just a musician. I've been a musician all my life. I play guitar, I sing, I do character voices, or I used to do a lot of character voices when I was a narrator. I didn't know any of this stuff. I mean, all through the 70s and 80s and stuff, I was just a regular guy. I'm still just a regular guy. But then I started tumbling down the rabbit hole. I started opening up my eyes and seeing what the world was and how it was being operated. I said, wait a second, I can't deal with this. No. You know, I want to leave the world. I want to make the world a better place for the generation to come. Anyway, hello, caller, you're on the air, and we've only got about 3 minutes. Who do we have there?
Okay, I guess I'm going to have to make it count. This is Melissa in Maryland, but this is not difficult or challenging to ask.
Okay.
I'm going to make a confession to you, which you can handle.
Okay.
I have been to the Church of Satan website, and I have also been to the Satanic Temple website. And I just would suggest that anybody not go there on their home computer, because if you go there on your home computer, they'll put a bunch of crap on your computer just for visiting. But I was going there to do research, to see how they operated, etc. You know, you have to know what the satanic tattoos look like to know when a Satanist is standing next to you. But anyway, let me ask you, since there are some states that are fortunate not to have Satanism in their state, what other names does Satanism and the Satanic Temple operate under? Because if you go to their website and you see a list of their churches, there are some states that they don't have a location, which is a good thing, because I wanted to know how close to them I was. But what other names do they operate under? Do you know?
Oh, gosh. I'd have to do a little bit of research. I know that there are several different cloaking devices, shall we say, that they use to hide what they're doing. But no, I'd have to do a little bit of research. But I have to commend you for doing having the courage to do that. And I'm sorry that they got into your computer. This is one of the reasons why, when it comes to visiting certain websites, I won't do it. Because I know that's exactly, the way they've got it set up. As soon as you click on that, I get all kinds of emails with links to do this, and nope, not going to do it. No, I will not. I won't touch that with a 10-foot pole. So, no, I can't. I can't help you with that.
It could be that they only use the name Satanism. But I just wonder what other names they operate under, because you would want to know it if they were in your area.
Well, there's Beelzebub, there's Lucifer, there's Baal, there's what's the other one I was thinking of? Moloch. Okay, you could do searches on that, but if you're going to go visit a website that is promoting one of those things, no, I won't do it. No, for the reasons that you just stated. So. Okay,
and it looks like they're holding up rather well during the longest federal shutdown in history.
Yeah. It's, what is this day? Was it 37 now? 37, 38 days now? Longest stand down in history, longest shutdown in history.
Well, what I will say about it is that I think that you know this, that when the U.S. Constitution is followed, and it's been so long since that happened, the country is unrecognizable.
Well, we're quickly getting there. So anyway, guess what? There's that music. All right, well, thank you for calling in. We're flat out of time. Hopefully next time you call in a little earlier, we can have a better conversation. Take care, Melissa. Gotta go. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today's installment of the WTF Reports. If you're enjoying this program, and I certainly hope you are, and if you're listening on BitChute or Rumble or YouTube or Facebook or whatever, please remember to click like, share, subscribe, and above all else, word of mouth is the best advertising. Tell your friends, your family, your co-workers, and the people you bump into at the grocery store. Anyway, that said, we're flat out of time for this Thursday edition, so I'll be back again tomorrow. Until then, God bless you all. Stay safe and stay free. And I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you all.